the annual Rockwood City Business Summit. Robert Shin insisted I accompany him. At the gala reception, Robert Shin attended, arm in arm with Sarah, both dressed to the nines, but seated me at a table with support staff. Just as I was about to step forward to confront them, Sarah publicly mocked me. "Audrey Sterling, you're just a pretty face, what makes you think you deserve to sit next to Mr. Shin?" I smiled faintly at her and turned to look at Robert Shin. "You think I don't deserve to, do you?" At that moment, everyone at the table stared at me. Robert Shin hadn't expected me to dare disrespect him in front of so many people. He glared at me, his face contorted with rage. "Audrey Sterling, what got into you now? This is a business exchange. If you want to argue, get out. Don't make a scene and embarrass me here." I chuckled, my gaze indifferent as I fixed on him. "Robert Shin, you think I'll embarrass you by being here, is that it?" The next second, Robert Shin slammed his hand on the table, pointed his finger in my face and yelled, "Yes. I do find it embarrassing to be seen with you, so what? You might be my wife in name, but there's absolutely no feeling between us. As far as the Shin family is concerned, you're just a dog I keep." By the end, he was standing, spit in my face. I used a tissue to wipe my face, maintaining my smile. "Then I don't understand. Since you hate me so much, why on earth did you insist I come to this ridiculous exchange? Was Mr. Shin just trying to humiliate me?" I was honestly puzzled. Normally, he found me a hindrance and an embarrassment, not even letting me come to the company. Yet, today, for such an important occasion, Robert Shin insisted on bringing me. There had to be something behind it. As soon as I finished speaking, Assistant Sarah, who had taken my seat, also stood up. "Audrey, you're truly as stupid as they say. Can't you figure out something so simple?" Of course, it's because, before Sarah could finish, Rob. Shin quickly raised a hand to cut her off. "Sarah, let's just eat. Why bother with someone like her? Even if you tell her the reason, what good would it do? She'd still be loafing around all day like before, doing whatever she wants, completely unaware of her own issues. I wish I hadn't agreed to this marriage my father arranged. It's nothing but bad luck." Robert Shin's words stunned me. I, the secret owner of the company, what else would I need to do? Sit around in the office drinking coffee all day like him? Seeing my silence, Robert Shin thought he had hit a nerve and looked smug. "What's wrong? Hit a sore spot, huh? Lost the courage to speak? Audrey Sterling, you better behave yourself, or I swear I'll fire you right now." I sneered, my gaze fixed on him. "Robert Shin, are you saying I'm redundant at the company?" I had originally thought today was the annual industry exchange, and the Shin family had only just managed to get an invitation. I didn't want a small matter like this to become the talk of Rockwood City. But I didn't know what got into this madman today, constantly targeting me. Being cursed at once or twice was fine, I could just ignore it. But I never expected him to use my job to threaten me. That, I couldn't tolerate. Who did the Shin family rely on to achieve their current status? Doesn't he have a clue? You're absolutely right. Keeping a good-for-nothing like you at my company is just a waste of resources. I smiled and shook my head. "Robert Shin, saying I loaf around is one thing. But if you insist I'm useless at the company, then I can't agree. You wouldn't happen to think you achieved your current position all by yourself, would you?" Seeing me not only refuse to admit fault but also talk back, Robert Shin immediately flew into a rage. "Audrey Sterling, open your eyes and look carefully. I, Robert Shin, am the chairman of Shin Corporation. The company's success isn't thanks to me, is it thanks to you, a pretty face?" I nodded. "Sir. Yes, exactly. There's nothing wrong with what you said. The Shin family indeed became one of the 4 leading families of Rockwood City because of me." As soon as I finished speaking, the table erupted. "Young lady, you're exaggerating a bit, aren't you? The Shin family is a prominent lineage in Rockwood City, who do you think you are? Mr. Miller is right. How can a woman whose own husband looks down on her have the nerve to want to sit with us? I advise you to leave quickly. Everyone here is a well-known figure in the business world. We don't welcome useless people." I rubbed my ears, automatically tuning out their comments. Whether I deserve to sit here is not for you to decide. The moment I finished speaking, everyone stared at me, dumbfounded. Everyone attending the summit today was a leading figure or capital holder in the Rockwood City business world. Even the Shin family had only qualified for an invitation this year. My words quickly spread throughout the main hall. Everyone's attention focused on me, their fierce eyes like they wanted to devour me. As more and more people joined in, I was quickly surrounded. Seeing this scene, Sarah couldn't stop smiling. "Everyone, let me clarify, although this woman is Mr. Shin's wife, she has been fired by Shin Corporation. You can hit her or curse at her, we won't stop you. After hearing the assistant's words, I almost couldn't help but laugh. Sarah, I advise you not to be too quick to distance yourself from me. Saying this, I suddenly smiled at her. Without me, Shin Corporation will go bankrupt in less than 10 minutes, do you believe that? As soon as I spoke, Sarah slammed his hand on the table. Audrey Sterling, you're dreaming. You, a parasite who does nothing but eat and wait to die, actually dare to think you can bring down the company? That's delusional. I nodded, looking at her calmly. That's the truth. If you don't believe it, you can certainly try. Sarah raised an eyebrow and scoffed. Try me. How? Can someone who doesn't even know their own limitations have the nerve to show off in front of me? Hearing her words, I wasn't angry. Instead, I remained composed. Excuse me, I'm not like you. I, Audrey Sterling, never rely on men. At this, the business tycoons at the table suddenly changed expression. Pfft, who does she think she is, putting on airs? Turns out she's just a dog kept by the Shin family. Well said. Just a slightly attractive pretty face, yet she has the audacity to mock others. She's just humiliating herself. Who here isn't worth over 100 million? Well, you probably don't even have $100 on you. I lightly cleared my throat and swept my gaze across the entire room. You're mistaken. I don't look down on others, I look down on every single one of you here. Although I don't understand how to do business, at least I know how to be a decent person. Since I entered the main hall, these so-called business tycoons haven't been discussing how to develop their companies, but rather how to cut corners and game the system. One day someone is withholding employee wages, the next someone else is evading taxes. With bosses like them, their companies are probably not far from bankruptcy. With these words, I instantly became everyone's target. Even the host couldn't stand it. Miss, this is a business summit. We don't welcome people like you here. I slowly looked up at the platform. Oh? What kind of person am I? Do tell. Before the host could speak, Sarah rushed onto the platform and grabbed the microphone. Audrey Sterling, you're a good-for-nothing. The assistant's words echoed through the speakers in every corner of the main hall. The business tycoons at my table stood up and applauded, gloating at me. Even Robert Shin, who hadn't spoken in a long time, joined in the applause. Seeing this scene, I finally understood Robert Shin's true reason for inviting me. But he miscalculated. Using others to do his dirty work wouldn't work on me at all. Even if you searched all of Rockwood City, no one had the right to look down on me. Seeing my silence, Sarah thought I was intimidated and raised the microphone again. Hey, Audrey. Now do you know why Mr. Shin didn't want to sit with you? Midway through, she suddenly grinned. Because, you don't belong. I looked at her coldly, my voice devoid of emotion. Alright, I played along with your act long enough. Tell me, what is the real reason you brought me here? Sarah stared at me with a malicious grin for a long time before slowly speaking. Since you figured it out, I might as well drop the act. The truth is, Mr. Shin brought you here hoping you'd understand your place and stop clinging to the Shin family. I put my hands in my pockets and smiled slightly. And then? Assistant Sarah sized me up, a look of contempt on her face. Mr. Shin wants to divorce you. I froze for a few seconds, then turned to look at Robert Shin. Is she telling the truth? You actually want to divorce me? Robert Shin raised an eyebrow, looking at me with disdain. Sarah is right. I've wanted to divorce you for a long time, but I was pressured by my father. Today, with all the business tycoons here, it's the perfect time to make it official. I, Robert Shin, want to divorce you, this good-for-nothing who is nothing. Hearing Robert Shin's words, I suddenly understood. 3 years ago, when the Shin family was still a small company, George Shin, the founder of Shin Corporation, came to my door and said he wanted me to marry his son. Before I could refuse, he pulled out a marriage contract. I looked at the handwriting, and it was indeed my father's signature. I was young then and didn't understand love at all, but to fulfill my father's dying wish, I bit the bullet and agreed. But I never expected that on the day we were supposed to get the marriage certificate, Robert Shin would suddenly backtrack and say he only agreed to register the marriage but not hold a wedding. After much consideration, I agreed to his request. After all, feelings do need time to develop. But who would have thought that after 3 years, not only had no feelings developed, but he was also forcing me to divorce him. Thinking about this, the anger in my body surged. Robert Shin, I'll ask you one last time, are you sure you want to divorce me? Even if it means risking Shin Corporation, which you're so proud of? Before Robert Shin could speak, Sarah on the side started fanning the flames again. Divorce, absolutely divorce. With Mr. Shin's current status, he can definitely find a woman 100 or even 1,000 times more beautiful than you. I glared at her, full of anger. Sarah, this has nothing to do with you. You're just Robert Shin's assistant, can you make decisions for him? As soon as I finished, Robert Shin instantly became enraged. Enough. Stop talking. Audrey Sterling, I can tell you clearly, I have never had any feelings for you from the beginning. You and the Shin family are nothing but a burden, not worth mentioning. I sighed softly, my eyes filled with disappointment. It seems you've already made up your mind, haven't you? Robert Shin frowned, looking at me with disgust. Yes. You're right. I've never liked you. Never have, never will. As soon as he finished speaking, Sarah immediately started applauding, and the onlookers also showed their support for Robert Shin's actions. I glanced around with the corner of my eye, a faint smile unconsciously forming on my lips. In that case, so be it. Saying this, I gave Robert Shin a meaningful look. I hope you won't regret this decision in the future. When Robert Shin heard that I agreed to divorce him, he became extremely agitated. Audrey Sterling, since you're willing to divorce me, that makes things easy. Tell me, do you want money or a house? I'll try my best to satisfy you. I waved my hand, looking at him coldly. Keep the money. After all, the Shin family is about to go bankrupt. Saying this, I suddenly changed the subject, my tone becoming colder. Now, I just want to know one thing. Besides the reasons you mentioned, is there any other reason for you to divorce me? Or to put it more bluntly, who is behind everything that happened today? From what I knew of Robert Shin, he was a very image-conscious person. If someone wasn't pulling strings behind the scenes, there's no way he would bring up his private affairs in public. There had to be something fishy going on. However, Robert Shin's expression at that moment confirmed my suspicions. His gaze started to dart around, unable to meet my eyes. Seeing this, Sarah quickly stepped forward. You don't deserve to know her name. But I can tell you, this person is from Capital City, a very important figure you can never afford to offend. It was only then that I realized everything that happened today was instigated by Sarah. No wonder she kept interrupting at crucial moments. Poor Robert Shin, he didn't even know he was being used. Facing these people's repeated provocations, I didn't lash out but instead repeatedly tolerated it. After all, everyone present was a prominent figure in the business world, and I didn't want to cause a scene and embarrass everyone. But constant concession only resulted in endless mockery. Enough. I swept a cold gaze around the room. I don't think this summit needs to continue today. Now, I'm giving all of you two options. Either leave now, and I'll let you off the hook, or wait and go bankrupt with the Shin family. As soon as I finished, the surrounding business tycoons looked at each other and laughed. Kid, you're not old, but you've got quite the mouth. You're threatening us now? Believe it or not, with just a word from us, there won't be a place for you in all of Rockwood City. I advise you to just leave quietly, or no one will be able to save you later. I suppressed my anger and slowly spoke. I'm used to being low-key, but today, I really feel he being high profile. I said this as I slowly walked towards the platform. Anyone who stays today, every single one of you, Audrey Sterling, will take you on. I looked at the challenging faces below the platform with disappointment. Was this the business world of Rockwood City? Self-serving, colluding factions, a complete mess. Audrey, get down from there. Is that your place? Sarah stood in the crowd, shouting, but I just smiled faintly. That's enough. Your task is complete. Go get the person behind you to come out. Hiding behind the scenes and whispering about others is no skill. Don't they even have the courage to face me? As soon as I finished, the doors to the main hall suddenly opened the next second. A woman about my age walked in swaggering. You're Audrey Sterling, right? I've taken a liking to your husband. Name your price. Ms. Hayes, you're finally here. With Sarah's surprised exclamation, everyone unanimously turned their gaze to welcome the rich young men from Capital City. Looking at this setup, you must be the one behind this summit today? The woman raised an eyebrow and slowly walked towards me. You guessed right. I organized this top-tier industry exchange. My name is Hayes, Victoria Hayes. You can call me Ms. Hayes, like everyone else. I almost burst out laughing. Ms. Hayes, are the top-tier business tycoons you mentioned these good-for-nothings down there? To me, this summit of yours is nothing special. My words just now amounted to slapping everyone present in the face. These Rockwood City businessmen cared about face more than anything. If it weren't for Ms. Hayes stopping them, they probably would have torn me apart by now. Ms. Sterling, I came here with sincerity today. I hope you can show me some respect. Hearing her words, I was completely bewildered. Ms. Hayes, are people from Capital City not quite right in the head? Tell me, how am I supposed to respect you when you're trying to steal my husband? Victoria Hayes's face turned red from my retort. Audrey, I intended to talk to you properly, but you keep provoking me. Do you really think the Hayes family from Capital City would be afraid of you, just a mere daughter-in-law of the Shin family? Her words genuinely amused me. Before coming to Rockwood City, I had dealt with quite a few rich kids from Capital City, but I had never heard of anyone named Hayes. Just as I was about to speak, Robert Shin put his arm around Victoria Hayes in front of me. Audrey Sterling, I advise you to just quietly divorce me. It will save everyone from being embarrassed. I looked up at the two with their fingers intertwined and spoke coldly. Looking at this, you must have been seeing each other for a long time, right? No wonder Robert Shin never let me appear with him after all these years of marriage. It turned out he always had someone else in his heart. As soon as I finished speaking, Robert Shin's expression changed immediately. That's nonsense. Victoria Hayes and I have known each other since we were kids. We've always been in a relationship. If my father hadn't forced me to marry you, I never would have married you. Hearing his words, I was completely stunned. When did a girlfriend suddenly appear? Why didn't George Shin tell me back then? Did he lie to me? Although I hadn't figured out when these two got together, Robert Shin was still my husband, at least for now. I couldn't just swallow this anger. Robert Shin, we're not even divorced yet, and you're hugging and embracing another woman right in front of me. Do you have any respect for me at all? I kept my eyes on Robert Shin as I spoke, but he couldn't even meet my gaze. What are you talking about, cheating? You're just complaining about not getting enough money, aren't you? Name your price. I have plenty of money. I looked at this arrogant rich kid from Capital City like she was a clown. Victoria Hayes, don't say I didn't warn you. If Robert Shin dares divorce me today, the Hayes family and the Shin family will both go bankrupt within half an hour, at most. As soon as I finished, Robert Shin eagerly stepped forward. Audrey, stop trying to scare people. What do you think you are, talking about making us go bankrupt? Ms. Hayes here could just lift a finger, and you'd be scared to death. If I hadn't been trying to figure out what was going on, I would have slapped him right then and there. Robert Shin's words caused a roar of laughter from the crowd. Did you hear that? I told you long ago, a pretty face like her, with no background and no money, her husband was bound to leave her for someone else eventually. Exactly. Look at what she's wearing. How can she have the nerve to attend a summit? Right. When it comes to background and wealth, Ms. Hayes, the sole heiress of the Hayes family from Capital City, is 100 times better than her. The people around kept flattering Victoria Hayes, but not a single person stood up to help me. It seemed that in their eyes, I was just a clown in a circus, there for their amusement. But I wasn't in a hurry. A good show is best watched slowly. I took out my phone in front of everyone and called George Shin. Hello, Uncle George, I have a question I'd like to ask you. Your son has a girlfriend. How is it that I didn't know? On the other end of the phone, George Shin was clearly stunned for a few seconds, then spoke cautiously. Miss Sterling, please let me explain. Robert Shin, I interrupted impatiently before he could finish. I don't want to hear your explanation right now. You need to tell me, does he or does he not have a girlfriend? By the end, I was yelling. Miss Sterling, please calm down. It's not what you think. Robert Shin was young and foolish back then, but I assure you, my son had already broken up with her before he married you. George Shin's words hit me like a ton of bricks. I never imagined I had been a standby for so many years. I had even foolishly helped the Shin family grow. Anger surged within me. Finally, I yelled into the phone, I'm giving you 20 minutes. If you don't get here, I will make sure the Shin family can never rise again. After speaking, I hung up the phone and stared at the two people in front of me, my eyes red. Very well. The Hayes family from Capital City, huh? I'd like to see what you can do to me today. As soon as I finished, I rolled up my sleeves and slapped Victoria Hayes across the face. This rich kid from Capital City was used to a life of privilege and had no time to react. She was knocked to the ground on the spot. Everyone present gasped at the sight. Holy cow, this woman is insane. She actually dared to hit the Hayes family heiress. Who says otherwise? If I were her, I'd have just divorced Mr. Shin quietly. Why resort to violence? Dare to harm members of the Hayes family? Not even Jesus could save her today. As the surrounding chatter grew louder, Robert Shin finally reacted to his girlfriend being slapped. He quickly helped Victoria Hayes up, then turned and glared at me fiercely. Audrey, how dare you lay a hand on Ms. Hayes? The Hayes family won't let you get away with this. I waved my hand dismissively. Robert Shin, you've got it backward. It's not about whether the Hayes family will let me off the hook now. It's about whether I will let you off the hook. As soon as I finished speaking, Victoria Hayes snapped back to reality. She rubbed her red cheek, then slowly raised her head, her eyes fixed on me, bloodshot. You little wretch. How dare you hit me? I'm going to kill you today. Saying this, she shouted behind her, and instantly a group of men in black swarmed into the main hall. Get her. You must kill this person today. With Victoria Hayes's command, the group rushed towards me. Stop right there. Just as they were less than a meter away from me, an urgent voice came from outside the door. Everyone turned their heads curiously. A middle-aged man with a prominent belly ran towards me, covered in sweat. Isn't that the founder of Shin Corporation? Why is he here too? Seeing the scene before him, George Shin's face turned pale with fright. He ran breathlessly to me and bowed deeply. Miss Sterling, are you all right? Are you hurt? I glanced down at my watch. Exactly 20 minutes. Uncle George, you arrived just in time. Your son's girlfriend was about to lay hands on me. How you handle this will determine the Shin family's fate. It's up to you. George Shin's attitude was extremely sincere, and he immediately reacted. With a loud slap, 5 red finger marks instantly appeared on Robert Shin's face. You idiot. Do you have any idea what you've done? Hurry up and apologize to Miss Sterling. Robert Shin was clearly stunned by the slap. He looked at Mr. George Shin Sr., bewildered. Dad, are you getting senile? Why did you hit me? Audrey Sterling was the one who hit Ms. Hayes first. Why are you punishing me instead of helping her? Seeing this scene, the anger in my heart subsided a little. But this was far from enough. The Shin family still owed me an explanation. George Shin glared furiously at his son and slapped him again. You still have the nerve to ask me why? Miss Sterling has her reasons for hitting someone. Even if she had hit you today, I wouldn't complain. Saying this, he turned to look at me, offered a strained smile, then turned back. Today, anyone who dares to disrespect Miss Sterling must step over my dead body. I must say, George Shin's way of handling things was 100 times smarter than his son's. George Shin's words were strong and powerful, but Robert Shin's mind was a mess. He couldn't understand why his father would openly oppose the Hayes family from Capital City for me, a mere pretty face who was nothing. Unfortunately, the reason for this was known to very few people. Uncle George, you haven't forgotten me, have you? I'm Victoria Hayes. You even came to my house when I was little. Are you sure you'd rather offend the Hayes family to protect this little wretch? I have the entire Hayes family behind me. If you offend me, it will be very difficult to continue cooperating with your company. The surrounding business tycoons also nodded in agreement after hearing Victoria Hayes's words. But George Shin made a different choice from everyone else. Perhaps to outsiders, he was getting old and couldn't grasp the current situation. But only I knew that he was doing this solely to protect the Shin family, making a final effort. I found a great vantage point and sat down, leaving the stage temporarily to the founder of Shin Corporation. George Shin's performance did not disappoint me. In front of half of the Rockwood City business world, he pointed at his son's nose and cursed him out, disregarding his own image. Robert Shin, I command you, in the name of the Shin family lineage, to apologize to Ms. Sterling immediately. If you don't listen, I will have to use family law to punish you. Saying this, he straightened his back and stood in front of me. Today, I, George Shin, declare that anyone who dares to disrespect Ms. Sterling is disrespecting the Shin family. George Shin's words were the final straw that broke Robert Shin's will. On one side was the Hayes family from Capital City, and on the other, his own father. He didn't dare offend either side. Just as he was agonizing over his decision, Victoria Hayes stepped forward. She slowly walked up to me, her eyes full of killing intent. Audrey, I order you to apologize to me right now, or I will use all my power to make your life a living hell. I pouted and smiled slightly at her. Ms. Hayes, I think you're the one who should be apologizing. Victoria Hayes saw this and didn't waste any more words. She pulled out her phone and made several calls. Time ticked by, and more luxury vehicles accumulated outside the main hall. If you looked closely, these cars had one thing in common. They all had exclusive license plates from Capital City, dazzling even the so-called business tycoons. Oh my God, did some incredible big shots come here today? There are so many luxury vehicles. Forget the cars, any one of the people inside these cars is a major figure in Rockwood City who could stand alone. This summit tonight is truly remarkable. It's even alarmed people from Capital City. I automatically tuned out these comments. George Shin, standing in front of me, was also silent at this moment. Because he knew someone was going to be in trouble tonight, and not just one person. One by one, important figures got out of their cars and headed straight for the main hall. One of them, a slightly older Mark, glanced at me from the corner of his eye and raised an eyebrow. You were the one who hit Ms. Hayes just now, right? His tone held contempt, surprise, and more than anything, provocation. That's right, it was me. That person hadn't expected me to be so defiant in front of so many rich young men from Capital City. His expression changed immediately. All right, kid. You've got guts. Saying this, he glanced at George Shin standing in front of me and snorted. Your confidence doesn't come from him, does it? George Shin, the founder of Shin Corporation in Rockwood City. I'm not wrong, am I? I was slightly surprised that the other party could immediately identify George Shin, but it only lasted for a few seconds. His identity has nothing to do with me. I have no connection to the Shin family, and I don't want any connection. My words had two meanings. The first was that I wanted to tell them I didn't need to rely on the Shin family at all. The second was that I wanted to tell the Shin family that from now on, I was myself, no longer their daughter-in-law. My nonchalant attitude quickly displeased that group of rich kids. They were definitely thinking, she's just a little girl, why is she acting tougher than us? One by one, they were eager to rush forward and hit me. But I just liked playing with rich kids like them when I had nothing else to do. The angrier they got, the more I wanted to challenge their limits. Hey, you guys were all called here by Victoria Hayes, right? With your dyed hair looking like a bunch of punks, and those earrings, are you even men? I could take on 10 guys like you with one hand. Try me if you don't believe it. As expected, as soon as I finished speaking, these pampered rich kids couldn't hold back any longer and rushed towards me. I didn't even bother to dodge. Slap, slap, slap. I slapped them back a few times. Except for Mark, who had spoken to me earlier, everyone else had my handprint on their face. And they hadn't even touched my clothes. Who exactly are you? Where does your confidence come from? He had a grim face, his eyes fixed on me, but he didn't dare make a move. I casually grabbed a wet tissue to wipe my hands and spoke indifferently. You still have the nerve to ask who I am? And you're from Capital City? You don't even recognize me. Midway through, I suddenly smiled at him. My name is Sterling. Sterling, as in Arthur Sterling. As soon as I finished speaking, someone in the crowd shouted, "Look, what's that?" Hearing this, everyone turned their heads. A luxury sedan with exclusive license plates from Capital City slowly drove into the main hall. Mark looked back, surprised. You're actually from Capital City. I smiled and nodded slightly. Congratulations, you guessed correctly. Saying this, I suddenly changed my tone, my eyes gradually becoming sharper. As a reward for guessing correctly, you should know better than I do how to deal with these people, right? Mark instinctively knelt down before me, his forehead covered in cold sweat. You're Arthur Sterling's daughter. Mark's words were like a bomb, detonating throughout the main hall. No way. This young girl has such a powerful identity. Why did and she say so earlier? Exactly. If I had an identity like hers, I could walk sideways anywhere in the country. Oh no, I almost forgot if you hadn't mentioned it. Didn't we just help Ms. Hayes curse her? It wasn't just these business tycoons, even the rich kids who came to help Victoria Hayes were panicking. Each of them was on their phone, calling home for help. As for Victoria Hayes herself, she was completely paralyzed on the ground, her mouth wide open. Princess Sterling, this is a misunderstanding. I kept smiling as I spoke. Oh? Ms. Hayes thinks this is a misunderstanding? You not only stole my husband, but you also tried to attack me. Which of these charges can you bear? As soon as I finished, she was so scared she wet herself. Yes, it's a misunderstanding, absolutely a misunderstanding. I don't know Robert Shin at all. Saying this, she rushed towards Robert Shin. With two loud slaps, before Robert Shin could react, blood was already oozing from the corner of his mouth. He looked up, bewildered. Ms. Hayes, why are you hitting me? Hearing Robert Shin still calling her name, Victoria Hayes kicked him. Stop calling me that. I don't know you. We just played in the mud when we were kids, that's it. The moment the elder wearing a well-tailored suit walked in, everyone in the main hall, except for me, was drenched in sweat. At this moment, Assistant Sarah, who had been silent for over an hour, knelt directly in front of me. There were yellow urine stains on her pants leg. Miss Sterling, I was wrong. I didn't know who I was dealing with. Please give me another chance. From now on, I'll be your dog. I'll bite whoever you tell me to. I held my nose and shook my head. Sarah, while I'm still in a good mood, get out of my sight. I wouldn't want you as a dog, you're disgusting. As soon as I finished speaking, Sarah scurried away, tail between her legs. Robert Shin was the last to realize what was happening. He burst into tears. Oh. And the spot. Wife, I was wrong. I was just confused for a moment. I still love you in my heart. Can we get back together? Didn't you want a wedding? I'll go arrange one right away. He pleaded with me, pleading profusely. It's too late. Whatever you say now is too late. From the moment you made me come to the summit, we were already over. Robert Shin, you never loved me, nor did you love Victoria Hayes. You love money, you love power, you love the things that make you look good. My words pierced him like knives. Robert Shin fell silent. Seeing this, George Shin still tried to keep me, but I glared him away with a fierce look. A man who has cheated, Audrey Sterling, would not want. After tonight, the Rockwood City business landscape was completely reshaped. The bosses who had mocked me alongside the Shin family were collectively brought down. Many years later, when I returned to Rockwood City, the Shin family was no longer there.